講藝術搜索頻道咧，今日好開心咧，就喺9月3號咁嚟到呢個浸會大學啦 AVA 啟德校園嗰度咧，咁我哋就請到Professor John Aiken， 亦都係呢個學院嘅 Dean 啦。咁佢就嚟呢度介紹下佢哋新成立嘅呢個centre，呢個 centre 就係 Centre for Research and Development。咁原來佢裏邊都有啲唔同嘅元素嘅，咁就又會有community art 啊，可能又會幫 young artists 啊，或者啲 research 嘅 network 嘅東西。咁但係都係比較新嘅，今日會係一個 launch 嘅 ceremony。咁就想問下佢關於呢個咁樣嘅 research centre 嘅一啲嘅背景啊咁。Hi John， nice to see you with our channel. So can you please explain a little bit about this new Centre for Research and Development established by AVA? Yeah, am I right?
Well, I think if I give it a little bit of history first, of course, this building, the KaiTak campus, was the original home of AVA when it was founded 7-8 years ago. And since then, we've also been given the building, some floors of the building at the Communication and Visual Art building at the main campus at Kowloon Tong. So we've got two spaces, two places. And in discussions, we decided that we would make an emphasis at the Kowloon Tong site on teaching and learning, and the emphasis here at KaiTak on research and development. And by research and development, I mean research and development in a very broad sense. So it's not research totally in the university type high research. It's also looking at how we can develop ideas around visual arts, how we can involve visual arts and AVA with the local community. Hence this project, the TOE project, and our collaboration in the future with the Robert Ho Family Foundation is a very important element in our relationship with the community, and especially this local community, because of course the KaiTak campus is located right at the center of a beautiful area of social housing and very interesting places in the East Kowloon district. So we have planned to do three main programs here, or three main thrusts. One would be the community engagement. One would be a sort of research hub, which would include artists in residence, would include symposiums, would include reaching out to the research community to involve other institutions, to do joint projects, and slowly, but also dynamically, build up a research culture in the center of AVA. And then the third aspect is the Young Artist Agency, which is an opportunity for us to help our alumni, help our recent graduates and graduating students to develop their careers in a professional way, to be able to network, to have some workshops in professional practice, and to create a sort of online archive and database for them to put their work and their profiles out to the world at large. So there's three main areas, but of course they're all going to overlap. But it's a very interesting it's a very interesting development for AVA and its sort of next phase of development. It's been established for 8 years. Now we move on to the next stage and lift it up another level. So it's a very, I think, progressive and innovative move on our part.
I think it is really positive for the local the development for the local art ecology. Yes, yeah, I think so. But then I actually have another question about the research elements. Because I've heard local artists complain about that we don't have the proper art history book for Hong Kong, and the only one seems to be not comprehensive. What do you think about this? Would the writing of art history be part of the objective to do for the research center, or do you think it is necessary to have more art history writing for Hong Kong?
Well, first of all, I think our intention is to create the art history, and to create the art history as an ongoing important event. So I think the history of Hong Kong art is an important one, which I think in my short time here, I would say is under-researched. I think there's some attempts are being made now. There's some very interesting books out, and those books, but they're few and far between. I've read, I think, all of them, in fact, now, which means there's not very many of them. But also, I think there's a number of research grant projects which are looking at various histories of Hong Kong art, and in a number of different ways. Some of our own staff are looking at how the galleries built up in Hong Kong over the last couple of decades. I think there's the Asia Art Archive are very firmly involved in gathering artists' archives, doing interviews with artists from a number of different generations. So they're there and preserved for history. So scholars can use that archive to write new books. But I think I don't think we would have writers in residence here, but I think it's something which we could consider actually, because I think one of the things that is missing in Hong Kong is a kind of history of good writing in terms of critical theory or writing about art in a critical way. So I think there's scope for development in that area, which is one of the reasons why, of course, AVA has its Master of Visual Art program to help develop critical writing and thinking.
That's great. But then I've also heard some some people also have some opinion about the university funding, because usually the funding would be tend to be pro-international, in quote, international agendas or, questions about the international art platform, but then not so much about the local. Do you see that problem at all, or how can we balance that, or do we need to?
No, I don't see it as a problem unless you see it in a very narrow way, which I think a lot of people do. But I think there's a lot of discussion, a lot of debate, a lot of conferences actually around this idea of what's local and what's global. It's a very pertinent debate as of this moment in time, because there was a great thrust towards the global, and now people are looking again and concentrating to some extent on where the local fits into that, what the relevance of local is in a global economy, what the relevance of local art is in an international situation. And I think that is being completely rethought and developed in very, very interesting ways. So I think the local, the regional, the international, the global are all being reassessed, and reassessed in a very, interesting way, because I think somebody can be working in a very international way within a local context. And certainly some of our researchers are very interested in local communities, but their research, I would say, has international relevance and importance. And I think this is the key to it, how you make the local relevant to an international context.
So basically, we need to break the boundary or the mindset of about that. And but then I think it's also time for the opening, and then we can talk to you later again. We hope, yeah.
Okay.
But thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.